All right. Thank you all for attending. I'd like to officially convene the Hawaii Board on Geographic Names meeting of December 10th. And we'll begin with our roll call. I'll start. Marcus Marzan, representing Bishop Museum.
Kapa'a Oliveira, University of Hawaii.
Ryan Morales, I'm representing the State Land Surveyor.
In the room today, Arthur Buto from the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development.
Holly McEldowney, representing the Department of Land and Natural Resources.
All right. Oh, and I see that we have Hailama just joining.
Hailama, we're taking roll.
Hi, here I am present.
Mahalo, Hailama.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry?
Okay. I think I could hear you. Thanks.
Okay. All right.
And I'll ask you to leave your camera on. Sorry.
I'll close my door too, so maybe it won't echo.
Okay. Thank you all. So next on the agenda is reviewing and approval of the minutes of April 9th. And again, thank you always, Arthur, for your notes in recording our deliberations. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
It's moved by Kapa, seconded by Holly. Any additions or edits? Hearing none. Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Thank you. At this time, we have public comments. Arthur?
I did not receive any, and actually that's not quite correct. I didn't print it out, but Bobby had sent an email about our not meeting on a regular basis. So I will, I'll add that to the website a little bit later. Yeah, I see Bobby has his hand raised. You want to click on attendance tab at the top. Okay, Bobby, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So my camera does not work. Is that correct?
We're not seeing you, correct?
Do you want to see me?
Well, we know what you look like.
How do I turn my camera on?
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. This new format, you can. Sorry.
Oh, lovely. Okay, you can hear me.
Yes.
So yes, I submitted a letter a few months ago, and I am deeply, deeply concerned that the board seems to be essentially falling apart. I provided ideas in my letter, and I believe that, of course, place names are foundational to our lives in Hawaii. They inform us about geography, about history, about culture, all those things and more. And it's critically important that the board meet every month. If people cannot make the meetings or they've become disinterested in serving on the board, then they should find another person to replace them. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. One of my comments was that we spent years poring over the database for the island of Hawaii. And there are many, many, many names on Oʻahu that need to be addressed. And I suggested that rather than looking at the database list of obscure gulch names in the Ko'olau or Waianae Mountains, address names in urban areas that I believe should be traditional names that should be recognized. Things like Le'ahi, like Pu'owaina, like Pu'uwalaka'a, those things. And I know they're contentious, but that's what life is these days. It's difficult. And not dealing with it is, to me, unacceptable. You know, got to make a decision. That's your job. And sometimes too, with the board, fresh blood is useful. You know. Okay. Any questions?
Mahalo, Bobby. No, thank you again for your comments and in writing as well as what you've shared today. You know, regarding the meeting, the board's meeting, and it did change this past year. We were trying a new format to see what could work in different ways. And I do understand your comments about meeting more regularly to try and address these different things in a faster way. I think we all want to address as much as we can as well. I think we just wanted to again try something that we hadn't tried before to see if it worked. But yeah, definitely we can have further conversations on what should be the more appropriate format and regularity of our meetings. As this was the first time we've really changed up the meeting schedule in a really long time. So I guess with the feedback that you've shared, and then us as board members to see if it really did anything for ourselves in our respective areas, if it helped in any way, we can have that conversation as well.
And in fact, it is item 7 on the agenda today. So we'll talk about reviewing what the schedule looks like and how we want to move forward.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Bobby, though.
Thank you.
Arthur, was that the last thing for this agenda item at this point?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the next item, announcements. Do we have any particular announcements at this time?
Yes, you'll notice that Ryan is joining us today. Meyer, I believe, left the surveyor's office, or at least he's stepping down as the delegate for the surveyor's office, and Reed Surratt named Ryan Morales to take his place on the board. Ryan, you want to introduce yourself? Say a few words.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Meyer moved on to a different department, and I'm taking over as a representative by the state land surveyor. this is actually my second time being on the board, so very familiar with some of you guys. I worked with you guys before, and looking forward to contribute again to the board. I think just a few things that I'm still familiar with how we do things. We review place names and all of that. Probably there's a few changes too from the last time that I was on the board. But again, looking forward to working with you guys again.
Mahalo, Ryan. And it's great to see you again and see you join the board for the second term. I believe that concludes our announcements at this point. So
That's all I have. Does anybody else have anything?
all right. Hearing none, we can continue on to the next discussion item, and discussion and decision on renaming Sand Island, Oʻahu, to Mauliola.
And I apologize, I have a typo in the agenda title. It should be Mauliola.
Yeah.
Mauliola.
Mauliola, yeah.
So the Honolulu City Council passed a reso to rename Sand Island and urges HBGN to recognize that name or approve that name or designate that name. So attached to your agenda or included in your agenda is the reso, as well as some documents that we received from John Clark about Sand Island and some of the history of the names related to Sand Island. So I hope you've had a chance to look at that. And then Holly, you had made some comments for
Well,
Sand Island.
I work for state parks, so I have talked to Martha again. Talked to you about various things as well. So part of the island is state parks, but not all of it. So there are other people that should be involved in the decision making as well. But we appreciate the work that's been done. I don't think, at least at this point, we don't oppose any changes. I think if we change the island name, it would probably change the park name as well. But we'd still want to use that name because people would get confused. Double names, at least until people get used to the Hawaiian name instead of just Sand Island.
And we have that option.
Yes, yeah.
But you brought up a good point, and that is that city and county doesn't own that island, doesn't have title to that island. The state does. Certainly the board can't make a decision on its own about a name. So this really should be referred to DLNR. And maybe it's the Board of Land and Natural Resources needs to consider this.
So you would like to hear from them before you have us make a final decision?
Yeah,
As a
because
board,
we're not
that would-
we're not the fee owner. Typically, that's where the decision would rest.
I mean,
And
the
then when
board
we
would
approve
accept
it,
it
yeah,
as a
exactly.
official change of names.
So what I would like to do is contact the council member was Rayan Cordero and let her know that this needs to be referred to DLNR for its consideration. And then once DLNR comes to a decision, if they decide to make a change, then we can approve it or recognize it as official. Alamo?
Yeah, I have a concern though that we're not giving a time certain. So, you give it to a state agency and we don't say, I would like it by February 3rd, 28th or whatever, then it tends to never come back or get done. And I think, first of all, according to this resolution, and I wanted to know the reference, it says that it was formerly known as Mauliola. You know whether you have state jurisdiction over it, whether you have county jurisdiction or federal district, it does not erase what it originally was named according to this reso. So I did go look it up, and it shows that it was the name of Sand Island. So shame on the folks who changed it in the first place, right? So I would anticipate that DLNR is not going to, as was said, is not going to probably be against it, but it's good to allow them some thought in the process. But I actually think we should be a little more aggressive on this. It's not like we're creating this name, inventing the name. Yes, some of the island is filled and not naturally occurring. But if this is correct, both under our Hawaiian language place names books, as well as this resolution citing it, and I would trust that our council had done better research and just made it up. I don't think they just made it up, but it says in the reso that it was the former name, according to our pukeveveveve.org. It shows that it does cite Sand Island to be a name. I'm sorry, Mauliola to be the name of Sand Island. So at a certain point, I think it is our kuleana to say, it is this. What have you say, DLNR or whoever else needs that? So I think we should be a little more assertive, aggressive to say, okay, Holly, you can go back and tell them we would like their word on it, their thought on them. But I think I'm going to guess the intent is that we move forward with supporting this. And then hopefully the state will take a higher, I guess, responsibility, like the council has done it. If it's interesting if the county council doesn't have jurisdiction over it, but they have this resolution, where does it go if they don't have jurisdiction over it? So I'd rather us unify everybody. So I'm okay with letting it go, but I think we should support it. Meaning, if DLNR later on says, well, what does this board say? Well, we've already have our statement. We're ready to move on it. So the question to this board would be, are we ready to support this? So that if DLNR comes back, we're not wasting time. We can say, yes, we're ready for you to accept this name. We'd like to move forward. Well, those are my thoughts.
Mahalo.
And I'm representing OHA here, so I mean, I can do the same with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs.
Yeah. Mahalo nui hailama for those comments. Anyone else, any other board members have any comment at this time?
This is Arthur again. I do think it's the city, the council that needs to really take it up with with DLNR. It's their request. I think they can make the strongest argument, and I think Mauliola was not the name of the whole island. Is that?
The island changed size at various times.
There were pieces of it, and one piece.
Yeah, the island didn't exist in its current form before it was filled. It's filled in. It grew. So yeah. Are we aware of other parts, or were there other mini islands that created this larger island that they all had different names? I'd be interested in that. That's kind of like by the airport. All of those little islands had different names.
I think some of that's covered in what we were given. The thing I'd have to figure out is which entities take care of the rest of the island instead of just us. So
there is a federal part too.
There's a federal part too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the Coast Guard.
But there must be other state agencies that either lease it out or.
But so leasing, like, it's set aside to state parks, right? By DLNR. State parks does not hold title.
Yeah, but that's just a one portion of the island.
Right, but I mean, the other state agencies, they also have executive orders setting aside to those agencies. The fee owner for the state part is DLNR. So it should, it should be,
You'd have to coordinate with whatever those entities are.
but as a fee
And
owner,
explain to what the-
that would be DLNR's, not our.
probably go to state parks to do that.
You have the biggest portion, I think.
I think so. I haven't seen it sketched out, but certainly the one that's most known. Other than the additional industrial places like it.
I think my intent really of my comment was that I do support having others counseled or share their mana'o on it. But I wanted to give a time certain for our actions so that it doesn't drag on until next year. I mean, just reading the other references they have here, and we have Kahaka'aulana, this is Koholaloa. So I'd like to see perhaps maps that would identify these, and I'd like us to do a little more check on it. But I think what I was asking, if we ask DLNR to give us their thoughts, I'd like there to be a time certain, or anybody to give their time certain. Meanwhile, I'd like us to do a little bit more research to find out if was Mauliola was that the more significant island at one point, and the others were smaller, or what was it? Or anyway, that I think that's what I'd like to get to.
I think it's our land division that would be able to get me the answers quite quickly to who else is using the rest of the island. Do you want me to try to put that together by our next meeting? Is that something that fall into at least setting up deadlines or a plan of some sort?
I'd like to add something. The other issues we faced for name changes, very similar. We want to incorporate as many of the interested stakeholders of the different areas as possible in providing comments and insights. And I think maybe that's like what Hailama mentioned. Maybe we can just forward this this reso onto all of the land, the stakeholders to the island, and include a request for comment, like as Hailama mentioned, with a certain time period, as that is something we need to move forward in this issue. So if we can identify all of those people, in agencies or groups that would have interest in this name change, then we can forward that on with that request for comment within a time period. Brian?
Yeah, I'm trying to find maps, but kind of hard right now. Gotta get narrowed down. But I just want to mention too that these parks also, when they get named, there is a governor's executive order attached to them. Like certain parcels of state land will be set aside as, just an example, State Island State Park. There is an executive order together with that. So it's not just state parks naming them. You have to go, I'm not sure how to, I think cancellation of executive order is something that has to go through the DLNR land board.
Thank you for that. I guess we'll look into see what steps we have to do to address all of these different issues at these various levels. So, do we think it's possible to create a list of all of the agencies or groups that are a part of this, that need to be part of this discussion, by
What if we have
Yeah.
I don't know, is this within our realm to, or Kuleana, to call for a hearing at our next meeting? And this be the subject, and invite stakeholders to come forward and give their thoughts. And then we can hear it that way. I mean, they can submit in writing also, which is important. But do we have that purview to hold a hearing and allow, and the agenda item would be this consideration by Councilwoman Radiant Cordero, and this urging to rename San Islandet and have the stakeholders come forward.
Yeah. So we can have the same thing, same agenda item on our next meeting, this discussion, and just invite all of the respective groups to attend and share their thoughts. Does that sound like a plan?
That we were purposefully asking them to come forward and give their
Yes.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Bobby has his hand up.
Yeah, I see Bobby's hand is raised. But at this, I want to just, if there's any of our board members that want to add at this point before I allow Bobby a chance to speak. All right.
Just one quick comment. So yeah, that sounds like a good way forward, Harama. But to me, this is similar to the National Park Service asking us not to make a decision on a name that's within their borders. That they need to approve it before it comes before our board. I see some parallels to this, in the case of a state agency ownership. But I think that getting that feedback from those stakeholders, the agencies that have an interest in Sand Island, is a good idea. Is a good way to start moving forward.
Yeah, I think what I'm suggesting is that let's say this meeting comes up January, same time or so, and we've sent out this call. The stakeholders, including the government agencies, can make some opportunity to consult with themselves and come on January. And they may come in January, say, we won't be able to meet till February, or we kindly ask that you wait on this. But they may come and say, we don't object to this change. And we can check off all of the stakeholders who've come to respond. And if it's, let's say the Coast Guard is the last one to say, we actually need another month because this is the process we have to go through. And, I'd rather see us move than probably not move by saying, this might not work because the state agencies and federal, they want them to consult first, and then we have to wait for them. So we start the ball rolling. We encourage them to, you go get your consultations done and you come back to us. And if they ask for more time, then they'll ask for more time. But I thought about this opportunity because it also gives our common folks who say, I love this place, I go surfing out there, or I grew up over here, or this is where my fishing spot was when I was a young kid, or something like that, gives a community an opportunity to hear. And let's say 90% of them come in and say, absolutely, do it now. And the Coast Guard says, we still need 2 more months. Then they at least can take back to their consideration that 90% of the people, or all of the people except them, have spoken in favor of changing. So it gives them more evidence too.
Yeah. Yep. Mahalo hailama. If there's no one else, I'd like to invite Bobby to share.
Well,
Can you hear me?
I found the executive order. Is that something we need to share? Can I just share that document to everyone?
Sorry, what was that? Can you say that again?
I found the executive order document for Sand Island. Is that can I just share my screen, or is that something I need to submit?
Sure. Before you do that, why don't we hear from
right.
Bobby?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I really appreciate Hailama's energy, I guess. You know, just do it. Don't keep putting things off. I did find a map in the survey office. I was trying to look for it right now and I can't find it. But it's an older map, of course, with the name Mauliola on it. Rather than having or expecting other agency people to dig around for their own research, it seems reasonable to, given the expertise on the board, for somebody to, you know, take the lead and go dig up maps and add that to the references that John Clark shared. Thank you.
Thanks, Bobby. Arthur, regarding the executive order that Ryan has, is that something that can?
Yeah, Ryan, I think you should be able to share your screen.
All right. Everyone can see it?
Yeah, can you make it a little bigger though? Sorry.
Sure.
I'm old. Thank you.
Wait, not this one. I think it's this document. There you go. And then I'm going to share the map. It's titled Sand Island. But basically, this is the supporting map for that executive order.
That's for the state park section.
Okay.
It's not state parks.
So Ryan, I think it would be helpful, as Bobby mentioned, if you could find an old map, maybe a registered map or something that shows Mauliola and other associated islands if there are.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll do more further research, and then I'll submit them to you, Arthur, and then maybe you can post it so that everyone in the board can see.
Well, yeah, mahalo, Ryan, for that. Okay.
Marcus, if I could chime in.
Yes, Lily.
Aloha, everyone. So nice to see everyone's faces.
Sorry, Lily, I can't hear you. Can you?
Can you hear me
Turn
now?
off your mic.
Hold on 1 second. Let me check my audio settings. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I just wanted to comment on process. So just being reflective on what Hailama mentioned about kind of better to act than to not act at all and not have any progress. I was thinking two things. One, it might be a good idea if we thought about like setting a date for when we would have that the actual discussion amongst board members. So maybe we would say, oh, in March or in 6 months from now or whatever time frame folks feel comfortable. That would be the time that we are going to have, you know, like kind of board discussion and see if we can make a determination. And then until that time, maybe we can agendize it. And the agenda item would be something along the lines of like invitation for testimony or invitation for comment on such and such topic. So that way, just being sensitive to the island of Hawaii versus Hawaii debacle that happened, that maybe if we agendize it in that way, it's an invitation for folks to send in written testimony or participate and know that they have X amount of time to kind of share their mana'o, and that we will be kind of collectively gathering all of that information, and process-wise, we would have that discussion, you know, at a future date that they would be well informed of in advance. Just thought those two components might be useful for us to think about.
Yeah, thanks, Lily. Yeah, so I guess if there's any thoughts on what Lily mentioned, and as well as Hailama, of identifying a particular date, so that we can inform all of the various agencies and stakeholders to review some of this information beforehand, so that we can begin to move this process along. Do any of the board members have any thoughts on that? On when that date could be or should be?
So I can put it on the agenda for the next meeting. But in the meantime, Holly, you had offered to go to the land division and find out all the affected agencies. You know, we can do that in the meantime, and yeah, let me think about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to reach out to those agencies in advance of the meeting. Maybe for at least another couple of meetings, because we're getting to the holiday time in the legislature, to give them opportunities to discuss before the board makes a decision. As Lily suggested, setting a date for a decision.
Okay.
The canoe people should know too. There are a lot of canoe groups that leave from Sand Island or that area. So I think that'd be another group to talk to.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to put it off too long, but we need to draft something.
Yeah.
To go out.
Okay.
So maybe have a special meeting or something where we finalize the draft to go out to those stakeholders before the next board meeting where we discuss it. Sort of the way we had our April 9th meeting to talk about the outreach materials for Island of Hawaii.
Yeah, that sounds good. Kapah, do you have a comment?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. And we're talking, I think, later in the agenda about when we're going to be meeting, so it's a little bit difficult. So maybe if we say our next meeting, or, you know, February, you know, whatever month we want to start with, like as the earliest time, because we don't know what our schedule is going to be. So
Yeah.
the first meeting after January or something like that. Depending on
Yeah.
whether we're going to keep this cadence or we're going back to monthly meetings. But if we can set like the earliest time, that might be helpful.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, maybe what we can do is just, as Lily suggested, maybe just have a standing agendized point of this particular matter on the agenda, and then hopefully in the next month or two, we're able to identify all of those stakeholders that we need to engage with. And during that time, we can draft some kind of communication to share this information, the reso and all the relevant information that has been shared with us so far on how this might affect the various groups, and to give them time to share comments. So I think, yeah, thank you, Holly, for thinking of trying to gather together all of the state groups that might be that are necessary to get comment, and then we'll just have this a standing agenda item until we determine when this decision should be made. Once we have all of those different components in place, including the regular standing meetings of the board, which will be in the later agenda items. Okay. So, do we have anything else further to add? Okay. Okay. Does that all make sense, Arthur?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we can move on to the next agenda item. Next agenda item, discussion and decision on changing the official name of the island of Hawaii.
So at our April meeting, we finalized the documents that Meyer had prepared, and hopefully reached out to our networks, communities. Get feedback, input.
It doesn't sound like we had any feedback based off of the comments or anything that you received previously from that time.
I did get, and I included it in the meeting packet. I did get a couple of things. One was postcard. I guess they were both written correspondence.
Yeah.
So those are both in your meeting packets.
Oh, at the end, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So both of those asked that we not change the name. But I haven't heard anything from anyone else. Anybody else?
I was just thinking, what if we used a similar process where we can try to pick a future date once we have a good understanding of that, and then keep it on the agenda so people can testify? I mean, it doesn't need to be as far out since it's been almost a year that we've been discussing it, but perhaps the next 1 or 2 sessions, we can keep it on the agenda and have it agendized as an opportunity for folks to comment, and then we can just pick a date or pick a meeting that we're going to make a decision and go from there.
I mean, my preference would be to settle it today. We've had this on our agenda for almost a year, and we've had media coverage on the topic. I've received personal inquiries about it from those media coverage opportunities. So I feel like we've gotten the word out. I think Marcus was also interviewed on it. So I don't feel like we're going to get any more feedback than we have today to make a decision. And because it has been so long and so public, I personally feel okay with moving forward with a decision today.
I'm happy to kako'o that, Kapa. I appreciate it.
All right. Any other comments from board members?
So
Do
I'll
board
make a
members
motion.
feel like we can make a decision today?
So I'd like to make a motion to change the name of Island of Hawaii to Hawaii and to have Island of Hawaii be an alternate name.
Right. There's a
Second.
motion- There's a motion and second by motion by Kapa, second by Lily, to have the official name of the island of Hawaii to be changed to Hawaii, and island of Hawaii be its alternate become an alternate name. Is that correct? Okay. So it was moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion?
Just a reminder that the alternate name for the Hawaiʻi Board is equivalent to the primary name.
Is that what you're in? Kapa, were you
Okay.
the
Then
alternate or variant name?
I'm sorry, a variant name. Yes. I appreciate that, Arthur. So I would like to revise my motion to change the name of Island of Hawaii to Hawaii, and for a variant name for Island of Hawaii to be a variant name.
Seconded.
It was moved and seconded for the name to be officially changed from Island of Hawaii to Hawaii, with Island of Hawaii be its variant, become a variant name. Correct. Okay, any discussion on that? Hearing none. I think as this is a significant decision, maybe we should have each director give a voice vote.
Kapa Alavera, aye.
Lily Makaila, aye.
Lama,
Elama Farden, I with reservations.
Ali,
Ali McEldowney, I approve it.
Arthur,
I'm gonna abstain.
Stain, Ryan,
I'm just new to the board again, and I was not part of the discussion, so I'm gonna have to abstain on this one.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Arthur, yeah, since I'm new to the board and I'm still not very informed with the past discussions, I'm gonna have to abstain for this one.
and Marcus Marzan, aye. So Arthur, can you confirm the votes?
4 ayes, 1 aye with the plus 1 aye with the reservation, and 2 abstentions.
Okay. So with that vote, I believe we have a motion carried. Thank you all for all the time that we've put to this issue and matter. Thank you.
So I will forward the decision to the USBGN and let them know that we approved the name change, and then we'll it will. In fact, you know what? I've got to fill out that name change form, and then we'll have to wait to see how the USBGN works.
With this particular matter having had a lot of news coverage and all that previously, do we feel like we need to make a public statement, a PR press release or anything regarding this? Or yeah, just some thoughts on that.
I think it's always a good idea, just for transparency.
Is that something that can be easily done, Arthur? You know, that the board made a decision on this date with the official name change of the island?
Yeah, I'm gonna need help drafting that, but yeah, and then I'll send it to our PIO or whatever they call our communications person, and I think that you as members would do the same to your communications people. And I don't know if we would, because we haven't done one before. I don't think we even did one for Ahu Ailau or Kamehua Kanaloa.
We did, yeah, we did not. We just had news news coverage of the official name changes, correct? We didn't have an actual statement that we made.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'd want to do a joint release or something. It's just sort of unprecedented. So
yeah.
I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah. No, it's true. Even for other name changes like Wailuku River and some of the other big, the more well-known name changes that have happened, we haven't really done anything like that as well, I believe. So understand. I see Bobby has his hand raised.
Bobby? Thank you. Finally. I would suggest waiting till you hear back from the national board, just as maybe a courtesy and a precaution. And if you decide not to do that, someone needs to reach out to Mayor Alameda and the reps and senators from this island, just so they know, as well as the governor's office, of course. Thanks.
Thanks, Bobby. Okay. All right. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I think I like Bobby's idea of waiting, because that will give us time to reach out to our departments to see how they want to make this announcement, and then also give us time to draft something.
Arthur, is any of the information that was compiled by Meyer usable in this context?
I think for the most part that talked about the process.
Yeah.
And a little bit about the reason for the decision or the reason for the discussion. I don't know, we can look at that and see if there's more we want to add to that, or if that's going to be sufficient.
Okay.
Did I include that? I think I included that in sharing my screen. No, it's not. Let me share my screen. Okay, this is the document that Meyer drafted. Sorry.
Mahalo, Arthur, for sharing your screen. And I think elements of this can be included in this statement that will be developed when the time is right. Yeah.
Yeah, so specifically about the name change for the island itself, it's really just this.
Yeah.
I think just this first paragraph. But yes, we can. So this can be a start. We can use this.
Yeah. We can drop on. Okay. Well, thank you all. So, hearing no further discussion, can continue with the next agenda item regarding board meeting schedule. How has everyone felt this year's schedule worked for you?
So as Bobby said, it didn't work out very well. The June meeting happened to fall on Kamehameha Day. And I think I tried once, maybe twice, to find an alternate meeting date, and didn't find anything that had more than we had a quorum. But our goal with the quarterly meetings, the reason we moved to a quarterly meeting was that it was thought that it would be easier for board members to commit to that date if it happened less frequently than monthly, because we were only getting 4 members. And Island of Hawaii was kind of a big decision. We didn't want to do that with just 4 members. That was the reason originally for moving to a quarterly meeting, but again, circumstances didn't seem to work out too well this year. And the September meeting, I was out of the office that day, and I again was unsuccessful finding a close alternate meeting time, which meant that we didn't meet for 7 months, almost 8 months, 8 months now. So didn't work out.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, my thinking is if it's quarterly, if it's bi-monthly or monthly, whatever it is, there should be a calendar created before January that will dictate to us that we need to be present. So the fact that we didn't plan and the date fell on Kamehameha Day would be a slip up on our part. We should have recognized that from the beginning because it's a common holiday. And we could have picked a day at a time, whether it's at the end of this last year or what. I'm for whatever. Just because we have 2 hours scheduled doesn't mean we have to use the 2 hours. So if we have to go to every other month, then let's plan it on a specific day and just chart it out. This is the meeting and put it on our calendars ahead of time. And if it has to be quarterly, the same. But we also need better planning for agenda if it's quarterly so that we can maximize the value of the meeting, because we won't have another meeting for another quarter after that. Especially if we're going to have the hearing. So let's pretend we agree we're going to have this hearing in the first quarter, and that would be, let's say it's the last month of the first quarter, which is March. So we're already scheduling March is a full month with Kuhio festivities, but in the middle of the day, unless the 26th, the middle of the week, like today is Wednesday, if the Kuhio, I don't think March 26th is on that, and it's not even, it's the end of the month anyway. I would suggest we go with, this is what, the second Wednesday of the last month of each quarter, to include December, like we're doing today, and get that out. Of course, subject to the call of the chair, should there be a meeting that needed to be held, a special meeting that needed to be held and agendized prior in time. My recommendation would be to get that calendar, make the dates pop before next year. And then we all got to commit to that. And other things happen as long as we have a quorum.
Yeah. Any other board members have any comment regarding frequency of meeting and potential date, like day of the week that is most ideal or not?
I was just gonna share that I'm open to schedule quarterly or bi-monthly. If folks prefer monthly, then I think that's also doable. But it is a little bit more challenging to meet monthly. I just wanted to share that for Department of Hawaiian Homelands, we do our commission meetings the third Monday and Tuesday, and or Tuesday, Wednesday, if it's a Monday holiday of each month. So if we could possibly avoid those days, those are kind of blackout days for Department of Hawaiian Homeland staff. But otherwise, happy to kind of work around with what other folks' schedules are. Not sure if OHA has that or any other divisions where you have some blackout dates or at a certain frequency, but yeah.
Yeah, just speak. OHA is okay. I mean, if the chair were the representative, I'm the designated representative by the chair. And if the chair were here, then they wouldn't be able to do it on their meeting dates, which are usually every other Thursday and every other Wednesday. But that also moves. But since I'm not a trustee, if I have to excuse myself from the board meetings, the meetings will still happen.
Arthur, Holly, are there any particular days that are more ideal for you to attend meetings?
No, I don't do it on special days.
Yeah, I'll plan my schedule around these meetings, so I don't have a problem. I was gonna say something, I can't remember now. Oh, I prefer maybe bi-monthly. We're gonna stick to a 2-hour meeting. Putting these meetings together from the technical side, it's just a lot more work right now. I think as we get into the swing of it, it's gonna get better. And I'm also short-staffed right now, so it's a little challenging. So monthly would be a little much, but I am happy to go along with whatever the members want.
I'm okay with either bi-monthly or quarterly. But again, if we're gonna do quarterly, then we just want to make sure we have sufficient material to be able to cover in the quarterly meeting so we can make progress. The advantage of a quarterly meeting, because based on today's conversation about, oh, maybe in the future we could have a hearing, I think it'd be easier to say, okay, today's December, in 3 months we'll have a hearing and allow for testimony. It's kind of easier to determine that, a quarterly cadence allows for folks to prepare in between to be ready for a hearing. But if it's by monthly, that also works for me. My personal preference, and I know there's lots of us to consider, is a Friday. But, I think that might require a poll of everyone offline to really look at schedule. It is harder, the more meetings we have, to be able to commit for a whole year when there are, 6 meetings or whatever it is. Monthly meetings for sure, that makes it hard because when things come up unexpectedly, just I don't know, is it possible, so like if I'm the representative from the university, do we have a provision for alternates? So say I have a crisis in the line of work that I do in student affairs, right, which is possible. Can I send a proxy?
I don't know, I'll find out.
I mean, because that's something I don't know that we've considered, right? So it's like either us or nobody. That's how it's been since I've been on the board. And I wonder if that would help us to meet quorum if we could send a proxy. Just a thought that I'm throwing out there.
It's I think we all actually are proxies, right? We're all the designees for the chairs of all of our representative agencies. So it would have to be the chairs, I would assume, that could identify, if that's even possible, who could represent them in their stead on the board. I think we historically have always had only one representative selected, as the representative, but I don't know. I don't recall seeing there's any particular language in the statute on how designees could be, if there could be multiple designees identified by an agency to represent them.
Sorry, Lily. You weren't on the call when we first set up the meeting. Although you have access to chat, I'm going to ask you to not use chat because the public can't see the chat. And as a sunshine meeting, we need that ability.
No worries.
So,
Just wanted to share that I can do Fridays in the morning time. So like between 10 and 1, I usually have a window of time. I have some standing Friday early morning and then some standing Friday afternoon, but just throwing it out.
Fridays 10 to 1 works for me generally. Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up the thought of the proxy. We're designated proxies though. So meaning that, and I think we do need the help to confirm whether we can then have another proxy designated by our chairs. Because if we, it might say the person who's designated is recorded and that is the only person. And until the chair revokes our positions, then even the chair can't just pop in and represent him or herself. So that would be one. Yeah, and I'm good with Friday mornings. My only concern is sometimes they become holidays. So we want to make sure that if we're going to do that, then we plan for the alternate that month or whatever. If we go with the by monthlies, that in a month where there's a Friday, like a Good Friday, let's pretend that was the one, then we would need to make sure we schedule a different day that month. That's all.
Mahalo. Ryan, do you have any thoughts?
I have a very flexible schedule, so I don't have any preference. Especially now that we can do online or virtual, so it's not gonna be any problem with me.
All right, thank you. I also was going to suggest Friday. So I think maybe Friday might be the ideal day for any meetings upcoming. And again, if we just plan out the calendar and see if there's any holidays that fall on those particular Fridays, we can move them so that we can all attend in the best way. I also think that with the quarterly meeting schedule that we had this year not really panning out in the best way that it could have, just because of different things that have happened. I would suggest that bi-monthly at this point, and see how that works for us now. Because I know definitely monthly can be quite taxing on people. But if we can truly commit to every meeting in a bi-monthly schedule, I think we can definitely do a lot with that timing.
Mr. Chair, Harlem Fardin, I move that the meetings for the year 2026 be moved bi-monthly, being held on the even months at 10 a.m. subject to consideration of the holidays.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Halama, seconded by Lily, to have bi-monthly meetings initiating on the even months of the calendar year at 10 a.m. Was it the second Friday? Second Friday, yes. That was, yes. Second Friday, 10 a.m. of the even months of 2026. Subject to holidays that fall on that those particular days, and that we can adjust accordingly. Right? So it was moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
On the website, I can put those dates, and I'll just put tentative in case we need to change them. I don't want to set them in stone. But that'll also give us an opportunity to kind of take a look at the calendar and see if there are any holidays on this.
I just took a cursory look at the 2026 Hawaii State holidays. It looks like the Fridays for next year it looks like we would be pretty clear. Doesn't look like any Fridays. It's like the 4th, July 4th, but that's in the other month, and August it's like the 3rd Friday. So I think it looks pretty clear. The 2nd Friday for 2026 doesn't look like it falls on any of the state observed holidays.
And the only exception, which is not a holiday, but I know all of you are going to be on the stage, is Merry Monarch. April, what is that, 9th or so? That'll be the only conflict. But even if you're in your hotel room, perhaps not go to the what do you call, craft fair, and then just quickly jump onto our meeting for the 2 hours, and then you'll be good.
Do we want to reschedule that one in April?
I think we should. We know that so many people have commitments that circle around that, especially that week. Maybe we can make an alternate date for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe in April, it looks like the preceding Friday is Good Friday, the 3rd. We would normally fall on the 10th. We want to avoid that. So either the 17th or the 24th.
I think the preceding week would work well.
The 17th?
For me, but anyone else have thoughts?
So that's not the HHL for you. The
That's
third.
okay. We do, the meeting will be on the 13th and the 14th, so
Okay.
good to go. The only other thing I might look at is the DOE calendar, just to see if it falls on spring break.
It shouldn't, because spring breaks in March, which is an odd month.
Okay.
But October is fall break.
Yeah. Looks like spring break is the week of March 15th. Okay. So second Friday, bi-monthly, all the even months, except for April, when we'll be at Merry Monarch or watching, glued to our screens. In which case we'll do the third Friday, April 17th.
That works with my calendar as well. Sounds good. Any further discussion on this?
Bob, did you say that October is fall break?
October is fall break.
I'm sorry?
Yes, it is.
Do we need to change the October 9th meeting? Do we need to move that?
You know, my screen is actually frozen, so I can't look anything up. I can't unmute myself or mute myself. I don't know what happened.
Take a look, see. I think October, yeah. Fall break is October 5th to the 9th, 2026. So maybe we move that one as well.
How many are affected by that?
Maybe. I mean, I can make it for 2 hours. But if you're affected by it, Lillian, you already know we should.
Yeah.
Is that stay calm?
Would we be okay to move it to the third Friday in October? It would be this October 16th.
16th. That works for me.
I think it works. So Hawaiian Civic Club Convention, which would put me out of commission on a Friday, is in November, and Hawaiian Council Convention, I believe, is much earlier this year. So I think I'm good. The only exception would be Halionali, and it's not in that month anyway, it's July. So I'm good for me.
Okay, just to throw a wrench in everything, is it by the third Friday's better instead of us making exceptions? I don't know. I haven't looked at them, but because we got 6 meetings and we got 2 exceptions, so I'm just wondering.
I think we're almost there, so we should just
Okay.
go.
All right, gotcha.
Okay. So no further discussion? So I'll just reiterate the motion to have bi-monthly meetings, even months on second Fridays, 10 a.m., with exception for April and October, which will be on the third Fridays.
Yes, I want to confirm that was my motion. Exactly that.
Point of clarification, do we want to have the end time? We have the start time, but not the end
Oh,
time.
so 10 a.m. will remain a 2-hour meeting. So yeah, so 10 a.m. to 12. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you all. Okay, I believe that ends our agenda.
Mahalo, Arthur. Mahalo,
Yes.
Marcus.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Mahalo,
everyone.
everyone.
I move without objection to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All right. So moved. And thank you all. And I wish you all a happy holidays and a very good year's end.
Awesome.
Mahalo.
Leo.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Aloha.
holidays.